What's up, guys? So we haven't done a DCAU movie in a while. It feels like at least. But today we kick back off with Batman versus Robin, not to be confused with Batman versus Superman. So we just continue the Damian Wayne storyline here, which you guys all know me and Trevor's opinion on him. But
Yeah.
I also want to say before we start, I'm a bad co-host. I was supposed to host this episode and run through it for you, but I was busy and also I'm lazy, so it's not a good mixture. But this is a Trevor appreciation post for or episode for sure. He's a real legend, so he clutched up and watched it and took notes on it for us. So
Why?
everyone,
Why'd you have to?
everyone, drop a like for him. All the
Uh,
likes are specifically for him and his ego.
why'd you have to do that, Nick? I was gonna shame you like multiple times during this. Now I feel
Dude,
bad if I
still,
do.
no, still shame me. I
Eh.
deserve it. I
I
definitely
mean, you
had
definitely
time to
do
watch it.
deserve it. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah,
being a lazy shit. So,
yeah, right,
but yeah, I mean, this is another Damian Wayne centric movie,
right.
but at least this one has more Batman in it than Son of Batman did. So,
Yeah, it's more of a timeshare instead of an origin story. So
yeah,
they're really starting to get into the Damien character and push him along. I think I think Son of Batman, you definitely realize that Damien is supposed to be a lead character in this universe. But if you didn't think so before, you really start to realize that they're trying to use his storyline and they're just making him an important character in this universe. So it's
yeah.
an important storyline to follow if you want to really get the full gist of this universe.
I mean, overall, this is a another fun movie. It takes a lot of inspiration from the Batman comic Court of the Owls,
Right.
which is one of my favorite ones. It's just yeah, it's just an awesome storyline.
And given hindsight, I know I didn't watch this movie because I'm lazy and all that, but I think it is my favorite animated Batman movie in this universe. With
Really?
hindsight, of course, the viewers, you guys don't know the Batman movies to come, but not to say those ones are bad by any means. But I think this one was my favorite.
I mean, we have two. Yeah, we have two more after this.
Yeah,
At least
right,
Batman centric ones.
right.
And
Yeah, with the in the title,
yeah, this one was your favorite?
I think so. Is well, I don't want to talk about the ones coming after too much, but
Not too much. I'm just gonna say Hush was way better than this.
right. I would, yeah, I would have guessed that was your favorite. I just, well, I don't want to. We'll talk about Hush when we get there, but
Yeah, we'll
I
talk
just
more about
really
it.
liked the. Well, spoiler alert here. Well, no, we'll just get into it.
All
We'll
right,
talk
you want
about
to
it
just
when
hop
we
right
get
into
here.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll show you what parts I liked.
All right. So this movie kicks off with Robin, who just recently stole the Batmobile, working with Batman, trying to find a bunch of missing children.
That's funny because we left off the last movie with him saying, "Can I drive home?"
Yeah,
And he said that a couple times in the last movie, so
yeah.
that's
And
funny.
Damien made a like funny comment because Batman was kind of saying like, "Oh, you got some balls, steal my car," and Damien's just like, "What are you gonna do? Call the authority and say my son stole the Batmobile?" Yeah, that's gonna go over well. I mean, he's still kind of an asshole of a kid, but at least he was a little funny at that
Yeah,
part. But they show up at this abandoned toy warehouse, and again, PG-13 movies, but they do have like a lot of dark elements. I mean, we see a
right.
bunch of bloody surgical equipment lying on tables, and then like 20 something cages full of like kids. And we find out that they're all kidnapped by this one villain, the doll maker,
Dude,
which he was
he's
really
really one of
creepy.
the he is one of the creepiest. He's one of the creepiest characters in general in the DC universe. It's really fucked what he does.
I'm not too familiar on him. I mean, in this one, he turns some kids into like
Right.
slaves and like staples like doll masks to their faces.
Yeah, and he pops up in a lot of Batman or Superman stuff too. He's different. He's really different in a lot of different iterations, but this one really, it's really creepy what he does in this one.
Yeah, basically he's been experimenting on kids because he wants to like protect him or keep him safe or whatever. So Batman and Robin try and stop him, and they're attacked by these kids who have like buzzsaws for hands. One has a flamethrower,
Right,
and Dollmaker runs out of the building. You got Robin chasing him, and Batman's dealing with the rest of the evil kids.
right,
And Batman saves the kids, but then we get Robin chasing Dollmaker in the woods, and he catches up to him, and he's not too happy that this guy was experimenting on kids,
right,
and he like he stops him, he like ties him up, and he's about to stab him in the face with a batarang.
right,
Uh, but he just kind of recites like I guess this motto that was taught to him by Batman, where it says "justice, not vengeance." He says it like 5 times, so he's still kind of wrestling with the fact of being a part of the League of Assassins,
right.
but also being Batman's son. So like trying to get out of his old ways and not kill every person he sees.
Yeah, and
But
for people that don't know Dollmaker, his whole thing, I don't. It's weird. Well, so there's doll maker, and then there's toy maker, and then there's toy man. So there's a lot of these like toy centered villains, but toy maker more or less just makes like literal toys that kills people and stuff. So I think that's what I was thinking of when I was saying he pops up in Superman stuff. I was
yeah, that's
thinking of toy
that's
maker,
yeah. He
but
just
this
makes
doll
sentient
maker,
toys.
yeah,
Dollmaker he turns
he
people
like
into
makes
dolls.
zombie kids. Yeah,
Yeah. Um but yeah, so Robin spares Dollmaker. Uh then immediately as soon as he's like about to I guess take him into custody, Dollmaker gets his heart ripped out of his chest by some mysterious character. And then that guy just leaves, and Batman shows up and he sees Dollmaker on the ground dead, and he immediately blames Damien.
I
Uh,
mean, can't
yeah,
blame him.
I mean, okay, so I mean, it's an animated
I mean,
movie. I
he
shouldn't
is
be thinking that hard into it, but
right.
you see
He
Damien
is,
holding a batarang, but then you see like a hole in this guy's chest.
yeah,
No blood
and
on
the world's
Robin,
greatest detective.
and immediately just blames his son, and he's just like what the hell did you do? And he's like, I didn't do it. And he's like, yeah, somebody else did it. And Batman's like, who? He's like, Robin just tells him like, I don't know, you figure it out. Kind of like showing that they're not
Right.
getting along still. I mean, yeah, they've been kind of living together, but there's a lot of still just Batman not trusting him, Robin feeling he's more independent than he actually is, and
Uh-huh.
they end up butting heads a lot through this movie, as we'll get into. Uh, we then jump to Batman. He's on a date with some woman named Samantha Vanavar, who's like who's a person from like a rich family similar to the Waynes, and it wasn't a funny scene. Like, there's nothing comedic about it necessarily, but I just kind of liked how when they're having dinner, it's this giant, like, long table, and he's sitting at one end and she's sitting at the other. Just kind of showing that, even as Bruce Wayne, he's distant from, like, forming connections with people or letting people too close to him. So I thought
Mhm.
that was, don't know if that was a directorial choice or not, but I thought it was kind of cool. But
Yeah, for sure.
they go and they start chatting, and then Bruce shows her a hologram of Gotham, and talking about how he has the wealth and the knowledge to make the city better. And as they're talking, they the woman notices Damien, who's just kind of waking up from a nap on the couch, and he's like, "I'm Damian Wayne. I'm Bruce's," and then Bruce interjects and just says Ward. So he's not fully accepted him as his son yet. Kind of just telling
I
Samantha
mean,
there that
yeah,
yeah, kind of telling Samantha like, oh yeah, this is just an orphan kid I'm helping out. Not
Right.
like this
But
is
also
my great baby.
I think if he admitted if it was his actual son, it would have raised more questions.
I
So
mean,
maybe he
yeah,
was, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was like he wasn't accepting of him, or if he was just trying to
that's what I got out of it,
not go
and
down that road.
yeah, that's what I got out of it. And there's a lot more, I think, context to kind of support that. But I mean, hey, if you watched the movie like you were supposed to, you could have done notes and
Oh
made your own
fuck.
opinion. So,
Oh, oh Lord.
um, so yeah, Damien just kind of like talking to Bruce, like, what the hell, like, are you ashamed of me or something? And Bruce is like, yeah, well, like, it's not the right time for uh just tell people you're my son. And then they kind of just have like a slight. They start talking about a book Damien's reading, and Bruce is like, "Have you ever seen the movie?" And Damien just says, "Oh yeah, Rage was never a fan of cinema." So they both kind of compromise and go to watch a movie together. So they're not on the right page, but they don't like fully hate each other. They're at least both trying. It like
Yeah.
it's not. They do butt heads a lot in this movie, but a moment like that, and I think there's a
Right.
few others, it shows that they're both at least working to try and find some sort of middle ground.
I will give it to Damien. He doesn't proactively try to cause problems on purpose. He more or less just doesn't go about certain things the right way, or like, because like him, when he was framed of killing Dollmaker, he could have just been like he could have answered, went about it better. Instead, he was just like, I don't know, fucking you deal with it.
Yeah, I mean
You
that
figure it out.
also, again, that's also like Bruce's fault because he's
Right.
like, "What did
Well,
you do?"
yeah.
And he's like, "Whoa, you not even gonna ask me what happened? You just blaming me immediately for a
Go
murder?"
right
It's
to
like,
it.
"Fuck you,
Yeah.
dude. You figure it out. I know I'm innocent." Um, so after they watch a little movie or something, Damien tries to sneak out of the house. Like he goes through like 4 levels of security, but then is stopped by Bruce himself, and Batman doesn't really trust him yet, so Damien's grounded.
Right.
And Damien tries to say how he's a master assassin, and no one could hurt him. And Batman's getting ready to, go do crime fighting or whatever. And Damien's like, "Yeah, you can't keep me here." He's like, "I know, that's why I got you a babysitter." And we get some more Nightwing action,
Hell yeah.
where
Get some
them
dick.
baby. God,
Hey, it's his name.
it is. No, you know what? I can call him Dick. You have to call him Richard from now on. I don't want you
That
shoehorning. God, shoehorning. Never mind. Okay.
you don't want me to drop dick jokes in every now and then.
Exactly.
All right.
But yeah, they're babysitting mostly entails of them just doing sparring matches, and yeah, they're basically just hanging out and fighting. While Batman goes to Gotham Museum, and he finds an owl with a missing feather.
Ooh,
With that,
Owl Man, maybe.
not quite,
Okay. Okay.
but he finds an owl with a missing feather, matching a similar one he picked up at the warehouse when he was uh, trying to save the kids from Dollmaker. We then get a flashback to Thomas Wayne singing a nursery rhyme to Bruce about the Court of the Owls, which it's a very creepy rhyme, and I wish I marked it down, but
Ooh.
it's saying
Yeah.
like just be careful, like they're always watching. If you speak their name, a talon will come for your head. And he's singing, trying to like tell his son while he's going to bed this nursery rhyme or whatever.
Right. I mean, dude, if you look back, a lot of like real life nursery rhymes are pretty dark. It's just kids are so innocent, they don't really
Yeah.
understand it fully.
Well, Bruce got creeped out at this, and again, we're still in the flashback. Um, we then get to see his parents die again, because what's a Batman movie without seeing the death of his parents?
True.
Um, but then after their death, Bruce is having trouble sleeping, because there's an owl just kind of hooing around in his attic. So he just grabs a bow and arrow and kills it. Which kind of just shows his distaste for owls and how he's
Huh.
freaked out about the Court of the Owls. He thinks that might be them watching him or something. He's still just a kid. But then he kind of dedicates himself for a time being to do research to try and see if the Court of the Owls is real. He thinks they're real, but his dad assured him they're not because,
Yeah.
and I should have mentioned earlier, but the Court of the Owls is DC's version of the Illuminati, at least in Gotham. A group of like the wealthiest people having secret meetings and deciding like how things should be.
The theory, anyway. They don't know if it's real or not at this point. Just like the Illuminati.
Just like the Illuminati.
Just like the Illuminati.
So yeah, we just kind of show that Batman, at least in the past, had a certain obsession with the court. Um, and then as Batman's kind of looking at more owl statues in present day, three mysterious ninjas, which I'm just gonna say they're Talons.
Yeah, we'll drop that.
We'll drop
The Court
that.
of the
Yeah,
Owls are real.
Court of the Owls are real. We get to meet them soon,
Wow, who
but
knew?
their assassins are called Talons. They pop out of the skylight and start to fight Batman. And Batman's doing all right for a bit. He rips off one of their masks and sees that it's like a zombie, or at least like
Right.
very corpse-like. Uh, and Batman continues to fight the three of them, and they start whooping his ass. Like he's getting cut by swords. They have like razor sharp like gauntlets, and
I mean,
Batman's like
yeah.
he's getting his ass kicked.
Talons.
Yeah. In DC continuity, Talons are like some of the best hand-to-hand like
Right.
minions. I'll say they're definitely like the top
They're
tier
bred.
minion.
They're bred and trained and controlled. But yeah, they're no ninjas. They're no like regular foot soldiers. They're like one of them is very formidable.
Yeah. But yeah, Batman's getting his ass kicked. He even tries to retreat, but is like taken down again. Like they chase him on a roof. And they like throw him through a skylight. And right before the Talons are gonna give a lethal blow, they just melt away. Like they turn into some sort of black goo. And
Yummy.
yeah, Batman passes out. Uh, Back at Wayne Manor, Nightwing's having a spicy conversation with his girlfriend, former Teen Titans member Starfire.
Right.
They're talking
I
about
remember this scene actually.
yeah, where he's talking about
Of
like
course.
he's like, oh,
Right.
you're wearing that with the lace and the thong, and he's like, but I gotta stay here and babysit. And he looks out the window. He looks into Damien's room and sees the windows open. He's like, ah, shit, he ran out again. So like, while Nightwing was playing pocket pool and sexting or whatever the fuck he was doing,
Oh my lord.
Damien just snuck out of the house again. And like that wasn't bad enough. He gets a call from Alfred saying that he needs to go rescue Bruce's unconscious body.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was brief, like 30 seconds with Nightwing. Yeah, he's not having a good time, or he went from having a great time to not a good time.
Classic babysitting antics.
Yeah, Adventures in Babysitting with Dick Grayson. But we catch up to Damien, who snuck out of the house, and he's now fighting up. He's beating up some like guys in an alley trying to rob some old people or whatever. And then another Talon shows up who, for the minions, I'm gonna go with calling them Baby Talons, and because this guy's name is Talon.
Right.
His real name
The
escapes me. But
general.
yeah, he's like the general.
Or like the head Talon, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the Talon.
Yep, the Talon. All right. Well, the Talon talks to Damien, like trying to get him, trying to recruit him, and saying like, "Hey, listen, I actually respect Batman. We have a lot of the same like goals. Like we want to end crime." He's just like, but the whole not killing people thing is just dumb.
It's always that.
So he's trying to recruit Damien. He's like, "Hey, like you work with me, you'll be doing the same shit as you did with Batman, except if you want to kill, go for it. I encourage it even." I mean, would you think of like the Talon guy?
I
Oh
mean,
wait, you didn't watch the movie. Never mind.
okay.
Go ahead.
No, it's fine.
All right, all right. Well, Damien ends up kind of not decided yet, but he just like talking to the Talon. He's like, "I'll get back to you." He goes back home, and him and Batman kind of get into an argument. Batman's just like, hey, shouldn't have snuck out. There's dangerous people out there. Again, Damian's like, I could take care of myself. And Batman just is like, hey, if you sneak out again or you piss me off one more time, I'm going to ship your ass to Switzerland. And yeah, so they're definitely not on good terms. But he locks Damian in his room or whatever, and Dick goes over to Bruce, and he's, again, cliche, they're talking right outside of his door. Uh, but Dick tries to get Bruce to go a little bit easier on Damian, and he's like, Batman kind of drops the, not a hint, but drops, like, what he's thinking in saying, like, hey, you are a lot better as Robin. He's like, even though Damian's my blood, he doesn't really feel like a son to me. And Damian's listening through the door, gets pissed off, and leaves.
Yeah,
Which I
that's
like
pretty
that
harsh.
part because I don't like Damian. I'm a Nightwing fan, and
Yeah,
definitely
right.
Batman was more of a father to Dick than he is to Damian. So just like
Yeah.
let Damian run off, let him do whatever. I don't care. Get him out of here. He should have, yeah, he should just go with the Talon. Um, but yeah, Bruce is then on the phone with his main squeeze, Samantha. He's just driving around as Bruce Wayne in a car on his way to dinner. But then he's surrounded by people in white masks who try and run him off the road. They have a Fast and Furious-esque kind of car chase, but they eventually knock him off the road, kidnap him, and then he wakes up in a courtroom surrounded by more people in suits and white masks, and they reveal themselves to be the
Mhm.
Court of the Owls.
They do look so badass. I
Oh yeah,
mean,
those
and at
masks are awesome.
this time in the movies, the Court of the Owls was really new. I mean, Scott Snyder like just created the Court of the Owls when this movie came out. So I don't think I was fully aware of who they were, what they were. So this was all pretty new to me. So it
Yeah,
was pretty dope.
this movie was my introduction to the Court of Owls,
Right.
and then I went back and read the comic, and it's very, very similar, like
Yeah.
almost shot for shot in a lot of aspects.
Mhm.
There's only one scene later that I at least remember isn't shot for shot, but they still did a great job in the movie. Um, but yeah, they try and they kind of just say how they want to make Gotham better.
Right.
Their organization has been around forever, like since the start of Gotham, and they don't know that he's Batman. They're just thinking they're talking just to Bruce Wayne, and they're
Yeah.
trying to recruit him, and they hand him like the little owl mask, but he rejects it and says, "Hey, just give me time to think about it, and then I'll get back to you." And he ends up putting like a little tracking chip inside of the mask so he can know where to find him again. So, Batman being Batman, he's always got a gadget on. I'm always thinking ahead.
Yeah.
But
Even when he's not in full Batman costume.
well, yeah, because he's always Batman. Only sometimes is he Bruce Wayne.
True. You're not wrong.
Um, but yeah, we just kind of get a little more. I mean, after a little seeing the court's plans, we then see what they call the Grandmaster, um, talking to some scientists and saying how they need to get the army ready, and we find out that they are reanimating corpses, and like training them. And he mentions
Yep.
that some of the warriors that they've had have been alive for over 100 years.
Yeah.
But the only thing that's an issue is he yells at a scientist for making one of the vats too cold because he
Right.
said if they're too cold, they'll just shatter.
Yeah.
Just because they don't have blood circulation and stuff. So they'll just freeze. But he also mentions how they're still kind of like they are effective, but they don't have a lot of longevity.
Life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're only like the first batch they sent out only was allowed to function for about 4 hours. Then the second wave, which is the one they sent after Batman, only survived for about 8 hours, which is
Yeah.
explained why they just kind of turned into a pile of
Melted.
black goop. Yeah,
Yeah, the Talons earlier.
yeah, which is I don't remember that necessarily from the comics, but I do like it in the movie. Just kind of how badass and OP they are.
Right.
They can't be around forever necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like more of the concept of a Talon being more of a like the Talon, like just maybe having there be one mantle of a Talon, and then maybe he has some foot soldiers, but they're like nowhere. They don't have the same title or something.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I like for having a
An
disposable
army.
army.
Yeah.
They are efficient and they can get the job done, but there is a certain cap on them, so they're not completely overpowered.
Right.
Because if you had like an army of these again that could just be alive for however long, even like a couple of days, like
Yeah.
Batman would have no chance. Um, we then kind of jump to like Robin. He's now with the Talon, um, the main Talon general guy, and they're just beating up some mob bosses. And again, Damian stops all these criminals, and the Talon's like, "Yeah, just kill them." And Damian just doesn't do it. So Talon gets pissed off, hops up on the roof, and gives Robin one more final ultimatum, just saying like,
Mm.
"Listen, me or Batman." And then he starts talking about his backstory, how he was how he sees a lot of himself in Robin.
Right.
He kind of grew up rough. He was a thief, grew up in an abusive household. We even see his dad get shot by the cops, and he's just left as an orphan until he was taken in by a member of the Court of Owls. He was trained, and he just kind of felt like they gave him a purpose.
Right.
And he's like, "Yeah, me and you are both lost, but we're looking for the same thing." And he's like, "Well, I feel like I turned out pretty great. Maybe I can do it for you." Uh, and Damien's still hesitant, hasn't made his decision. Then Batman shows up, and Talon's like, "Well, yeah, decide," and he leaves. And Batman goes to pursue the Talon, but Damien stops in front of him, and then they start fighting.
Batman
And
versus Robin.
yep, they start fighting, and Batman's kind of clearly holding back. In one, like they're fighting on top of this roof, and one thing that I did like is Batman ties up Damien, kind of hanging over the side of the building, and
Yeah.
Batman jumps down, tries to reason with him a little bit more, but Damien cuts himself free and knocks Batman off of the building and into some sort of greenhouse. But they're both kind of like on their sides. But when Batman knows they're like close to hitting the ground, he grabs Damien and like holds him on his chest. So like Batman takes the brunt of the hit.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to hurt his son. And then as soon as Batman hits the ground, Damien gets up and starts punching him in the face. He grabs a piece of wood on the ground and he like is about to stab him. And Bruce is like, if you wanna he's like, right now is the time where you make your decision. If you want to be with him, kill me now. And yeah, Damien just drops the stick, but still doesn't want anything to do with Batman. So he leaves to go find the Talon.
Yeah. Damien is just so exhausting.
Yeah, I know. I could deal with his antics like this for one movie, like the first
Yeah.
one, and then do more change. He really doesn't
Right.
have like any development, which is
It's almost
he
it's
could be
yeah,
a
we're
good
back
character,
at
but
ground zero. And he really never reaches the full acceptance of Batman and loyalty to Batman throughout this whole universe really.
yeah. And there's again, there's not too much development with a character in this universe.
Mm. And he has
And
the most room for it too.
yeah, I think he has the most appearances out of any character, and I'd have to double
Right.
check, but I think he is in the most movies, and
And
at
he
least
starts at
centric.
he
Yeah,
starts at one of the lowest points of anyone in the universe. And he obviously has a lot to live up to, so he has the most room to grow, but I
yeah.
don't know.
I don't know. I'm just not a fan
They
of the character, and it's just kind of sad that he is in like
a lot
four or
of
five movies, and I have to stomach through them. And there's only
they
one that
just
I could tolerate him in, which is
they
like
just use him as a plot device pretty much rather than him being his own character, it seems.
I know he's the one where if you want the team or the duo or whoever he's with to kind of like
If
separate,
you
yeah, if you want
right,
tension,
right.
he
Yeah.
doesn't even do anything crazy. He's just himself, just a
Yeah.
whiny little bitch, and he's just Like even
If
there,
you
like
want,
him deciding not to kill Batman, that could
yeah,
have been a good turning point. With like, okay, hey, let's work together. But no, he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna kill you, but I'm still gonna go join the Talons or the court. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I mean, at that point, I wish he would have just killed Batman. At
I
least
know, and
driven the
then
stake
just
in his arm or something like that.
making an Elseworld story now, and Dick Grayson can be Batman, and
Yeah, just like the Black Mirror comic.
right,
Anyways, so Damien's gone off to find the Talons. Um, and Batman finally decides he's gonna take down the court, and he's just going through the sewers, following his little GPS, and he finds out where their main base is, and he shows up in the courtroom, and he tells them like, "Listen, I'm gonna take you guys down." But the court was like 5 steps ahead of them. They knew that they'd be found, so they filled the sewers up with some psychedelic gas that are absorbed through the pores,
right.
and it slowly starts hitting Batman. And this might be this is probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, but
Oh,
definitely my
yeah,
favorite part in the comic. It's a lot different, but
right.
it's still really good. But
This is one. This is like the one scene I think of when I think of this movie.
yeah. So Batman starts tripping balls, and he's like dropped down into this giant maze, and it's all just like bright white walls, and there's like owls coming at him, like scraping him here and there, and Batman's just like, "Hey, you think you're the first to drug me?" He's like, "This is nothing." So,
He was raped by Talia.
and also all the times that he's been with Scarecrow, like, yeah,
Yeah, dude.
but
Scarecrow might even slip in a finger here and there. Who knows, dude?
or the end of his
Batman's
pitchfork.
been through. Batman's been date raped more than. Okay, I don't.
I was gonna say where. Okay,
I'm treading dangerous water. I'm not gonna.
yeah. Well, Batman's attracted, so people just want to just not ask for his consent. Um, all right. So yeah, Batman's kind of wandering around, and eventually he kind of turns a corner, and then we see the alley again where his parents died. And
I always like when this pops up, and like obviously I don't like seeing his parents die every time, but what I do like is him hallucinating or like kind of having a nightmare of like just seeing the alleyway in a spot where it obviously isn't supposed to be or where it's not actually.
yeah,
And
um,
then either seeing like the chalk outline of his parents or his actual parents or just
yeah.
a
Whenever we
flower there.
see like this type of like the alley scene in sort of like a hallucinogenic way, or at least in
Right.
Batman's tripping sack, like
In more of
it's
a,
always
yeah.
different. So then, yeah, young Bruce is saying, or yeah, Batman turns the corner and he sees his two dead parents, and then he sees the younger version of himself standing there.
Yeah.
And young Bruce turns around and he's saying how like he became everything he swore to fight against, how he's the real evil, and he said he fathered the greatest, yeah, the greatest villain Gotham will ever see. And it like
Ooh.
cuts over and we see a Batman with two guns, and there's a whole bunch of dead bodies around him. Gotham City's on fire, and yeah, it turns out to be, I guess, a future version of Damian Wayne. I mean, it is Damian Wayne. He pulls off his cowl, and Batman does as Damian.
Yeah.
But then again, he's tripping, so it's not necessarily like a foreshadow thing.
Right.
It's just,
It's more of like his worst
yeah, his
nightmares.
worst fears. Like if you keep
Like his
neglecting
worst
this,
fears coming to life,
yeah,
exactly.
he's
Yeah.
like, if I train this kid and then start neglecting him, is he going to take all my training and use it for evil?
And that's
But
what, well, yeah, what he fears might happen, or that's the worst possible scenario.
yeah, which I will say, probably my favorite Batman costume I've seen
I mean,
in
he looks
comics
badass,
or in movies,
right?
because
Him in
it's
the
like
comic,
it's a cross between Flashpoint Batman and Zack Snyder's Nightmare version of Batman. Like he's got the black duster on, he's got the dual
yeah,
pistols, and then just like the body armor with the bat symbol, and then the cool
yeah.
cowl.
I'm looking at the image of it right now. He does look so cool.
Yeah, definitely have to have that as like the visual
Oh,
for like the
of the
thumbnail or
thumbnail.
yeah, the thumbnail
Oh yeah,
or as yeah, wherever.
he's yeah. Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, I need that though ASAP. Um, but yeah, so then Batman's staring at future Damian, and Damian pulls out a gun and shoots him. Uh, and then Batman slowly starts to kind of walk over him, and Damian's just unloading, and Batman finally just fights through all the bullets and just hugs Damian and says, "I'm sorry." Uh,
Oh,
yeah. So he kind of realizes like, hey, I didn't mean to be a dick to you. All
he's
that time when
taking
you're a kid, yeah,
responsibility.
finally taking responsibility. Um, Actually gonna try and be a father more than just a babysitter. Um, but yeah, he kind of then just abruptly wakes up and he's just in a straitjacket, and there's Alfred and Dick right next to him. And he's like, "How long have I been out there?" Like, "Yeah, 7 hours." And yeah, Batman's still freaking out. He's like, "We need to find Damian." And yeah, we then cut to Damian, who is finally standing in front of the court, ready to join the ranks. But he has to do one thing before he can join, and that's remove his mask. So he takes off his mask, and then everyone or the Grand Master freaks out, and she's like, "Oh, you're Bruce Wayne's ward." And Damian just realized he's like, "Oh, I fucked up." He's like, "No, no, I'm not. No, I'm not." And well, actually, I skipped over it. When the Grandmaster says that's Bruce Wayne's ward, it like pans in through the eye hole of the mask, and you see that it was the girl he's been with, Samantha.
Ooh,
So yeah, she's been kind of getting with Bruce, trying to use him to try and get him to join the court. But
yeah,
now she realizes that like, oh, this Robin is the kid staying with Bruce, so that must mean that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
one would think.
You know what? I will give it to her. She was at least smart enough to get it right off the rip. Like, hey,
Yeah,
she's like,
most people won't.
again, yeah. Like, she's like, wait, you're the kid in his house. You're Robin. Oh shit, yeah. Like pieced it together pretty good. I'm like, okay. I was like, good on you. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, as soon as they find out that they have leverage, or they have the identity and now leverage on Batman, the court just puts Damian in a cage, and you're like, yeah, we don't need him anymore. So they get Papa Talon there, and he's like, yeah, kill this kid. And Talon's like getting ready to, but then he just again actually visually sees his face in Damian,
and Dayman, yeah,
and he's just like kind of just pieces together that he was nothing more than like a glorified puppet.
yeah.
Uh, so what he does is decides to kind of free Damian, or well, spare him, and then he kills all the members of the Court of Owls. And there was no other like little baby Talons around. It's just him in there. So
Yeah.
he just with no security just massacres like the entire room.
Love to see it.
I mean, yeah, we were so worried about like how powerful the Court of the Owls were. Like, how's Batman gonna stop like this huge like interconnected group of like billionaires? Oh no, some guy with a sword just gonna kill all of them in the span of like 2 minutes.
Right. They're just people.
Yeah, so uh he ends up killing them all, and then he puts Damien in like this. He puts Damien in one of the containment chambers to kind of turn him into like one of the zombies. And then he grabs the rest of the baby Talons, and he's like, "Yep, we're gonna head to Wayne Manor."
The baby talons.
That's
You
the
make
best
it
name.
sound so yeah, you make it sounds so cute though.
Yeah, it does sound cute, but they're like fucking menacing. So,
Yeah.
um, so as Batman's getting ready to uh go out and find Damien, he starts getting notifications that his security is being breached, and we see a bunch of the baby Talons climbing up the side of the Wayne Manor. Are you gonna laugh every time I say baby Talons? Because I will not stop.
Maybe.
Um, but yeah, they just decide that like they're gonna kind of hold their ground, just take them on. So Nightwing and Batman head up to like I guess, the main hall of Wayne Manor. And yeah, they just start fighting a bunch of baby Talons. Alfred locks them all in with these giant metal doors. Um, and yeah, we basically from this point on we just get like just this big fight scene, and it's really well like it's choreographed and animated very well.
Hmm.
Um, Nightwing gets messed up at one point, and then they end up having to retreat down to the Batcave.
It's
And
it's cool that it's in Wayne Manor. I always like when a fight scene's like in Wayne Manor. It just feels like there's so much more at stake, and it's like, oh shit. Like, I mean, they're on Batman's turf,
yeah, like it's cool that it
which
started off
give
in the manor
yeah.
and then spilled out into the Batcave. Um, but yeah, they start fighting. Batman realizes they're starting to get overrun, and he also is like, well, they're not quite alive, so he's like telling them Nightwing to use lethal force if needed. And then Alfred's just shooting him with a shotgun,
Yeah.
which I'm surprised he has. Figured Bruce wouldn't have any sort of guns laying around the Batcave, but Alfred just has a shotgun. He's just dropping bodies
He
left and right.
he's ex-military, so
Yeah. Um, but yeah, they start getting overrun, and Batman jumps into a room and then bursts out with a giant mech, which might be like a preemptive thing to the Justice Buster. It's not the Hellbat suit, I know that, but
right.
it looked like it's just a giant like Hulkbuster type suit. Uh, and he just kind of tells the Talons, like, "I'm only gonna tell you once, you son of a bitch." He's like, "Get the hell out of my cave," which I love that line.
PG-13. PG-13.
Hey, I love it. I mean,
No, I love it too.
it's no I'll fucking kill you from
Yeah,
Snyder
get
Cut, but
the
this is still great. Yeah.
get the fuck out of my cave.
But yeah, so they ended up fighting. Daddy Talon there starts fighting Nightwing, kicks his ass, goes up, basically fucks up the mech, gets Batman out of it, and Batman and Talon are getting ready to go hand to hand. And another line I liked by Batman, just kind of badass thing, is he's like, "It's bad enough, you mess with my home and my cave." He's like, "Worst of all, you mess with my son," and he's like, "This is gonna hurt, and I'm gonna enjoy it." So yeah, you definitely pissed him off, and oh
Yeah.
yeah,
See,
actually,
this
that's the
is
point
like
where he rips off. Yeah, his mask is all tattered, so he rips it off.
right,
So this isn't Batman fighting Talon; it's Bruce Wayne fighting him in a bat.
right. Because
But what were you saying?
this is why it's one of my favorite movies. I mean, just Batman. This is like prime Batman when he's pushed up into a corner, and they go after like his family, and how important family is to Batman. I mean, it's like cornering a wild dog or something like that. Like he's just goes. He really doesn't hold back when he's in this position.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he really
Like
can't too, which
when
is
you
just
push
nice.
him
Yeah,
to this point, yeah. And then
yeah.
also the core is just so cool. So I don't. It's
Oh
just one of
yeah.
my favorite movies.
I mean, the court's awesome, and I feel bad
Right.
because I'm shitty at delivering a plot, so they probably sound, I'm talking about baby talons and yeah, owls and shit, but
No,
they are
it's
awesome.
yeah.
I highly encourage everyone to watch this
We
movie and
right.
especially read the comic.
Yeah, we won't do any of these movies true justice. I mean, you
Just wait
just
till we
have to
get to the
watch it.
Superman ones. I know I will.
Oh yes.
But yeah, Batman ends up getting his ass kicked. He gets stabbed a few times, but Damien, I forget how. I don't really give a shit. Fuck Damien. But he shows up some. He shows up and starts fighting the Talon. And it's pretty evenly matched. And then Damien gets a sigh pointed right at the Talon's neck. And Talon's just like, yeah. He's like, do it. Kill me. And Damien's like, no. Which has happened like 4 times this movie. But this time, the Talon takes Damien's wrist and plunges the sword through his neck. Kind of
See,
like
that's
make Damien
that's
feel like,
badass.
yeah, trying to make Damien feel
Yeah.
like he killed him. But
Right.
I remember even watching it and doing my notes. I was like, oh shit! I'm like, I did not
Yeah.
remember that at all. That was awesome.
PG-13, by the way.
Well, there's no gore in that. There was just you know,
Just a sword going through the neck, yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's
We're so
fine.
desensitized to violence. At our age, it's fine.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
whatever.
mean, especially as Tarantino fans.
Yeah. Um. But yeah. So Talon's dead. Batman's or Damien's like, oh no, I killed him. Batman's like, hey, it's okay. I'm proud of you. They start kind of making up and making out, whatever. Like Tom Brady and his kids. Just
Oh my god.
um,
Tom Brady fans, by the way.
Tom Brady fans, yeah, but it was right there. Um,
Alley-oop.
okay, got me thrown off. All right, so yeah, they kind of work out their differences, and Damien still doesn't feel like he belongs. So Batman just kind of tells him, "Hey, listen, I was lost at one point. There's a monastery out in Tibet or something, I think it was." And he's like, "Why don't you go there? Take as much time as you need. Go train, and when you figure it out, come back whenever." He's like, "You always be welcome." So Damien goes out to do that, and Nightwing just kind of says like, "Hey, how long do you think he's gonna be?" And Bruce is like, "When he comes back, he'll come back when he's ready." And then yeah, we see Damien standing at the foot of a mountain, staring up at a monastery, and that's the end of the movie. No post credit anything, just
And
that's the end.
it mirrors a lot of what I mean, like of Batman's backstory of like what he did, just kind of leaving for a while to train and
Yeah, more just like
right,
I don't think this was like sending him to like, a temple, like to actually train like combat. I think this
right,
is just more like, listen, there's
to
no one
find
around.
yourself.
Yeah, there's no one around really to watch over you or boss you around. So do whatever, make your own mistakes, find out what you actually want to do,
Yeah,
and But yeah,
and that's the best answer sometimes. So
yeah, that's Batman v Super. All right, fuck.
oh
Batman v
fuck,
Robin.
yeah, the whole episode's ruined. All right, guys,
That's it.
we'll have to re-record it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Batman versus Robin, which I mean, is it really a Batman versus Robin movie? I mean,
I mean,
I guess as much as
we get
yeah,
more time with them just like verbally arguing than we do of them fighting.
right.
I think it's a
Yeah,
minute
which
30 of them actually physically fighting,
yeah, I guess it is more of an internal battle between them, but
which
I
never
mean, yeah,
even gets solved. I mean,
yeah,
Damien's still a little shit, so I don't know. Court of the Owls saved this movie. I love just seeing the little introductions of Nightwing in it. So it
they
was
are cool,
the action scenes were top tier in this. I thought it was great.
right?
Everything with Batman was fantastic. Just again, like my complaint with the uh, Son of Batman, there's just too much Damien. Which it's a Damien
Yeah,
movie, I guess. Can't really do anything about it. But
Damien. I mean, Damien could easily be replaced by like Dick in this movie. Like,
or
just
just
have
cut out
Dick.
entirely.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, and have Dick be kidnapped by the court and try to get him to be Talon instead.
Yeah, which they have done in the comics at least a few times. They have tried to recruit
Right.
Dick.
Try to Dick to be Talon. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
yeah, I
this
guess
is
fuck Damien, huh?
yeah, fuck Damien. This is
Get
definitely
a
an
load of
average
that
movie
shit.
though, but
Yeah. Well,
average.
yeah, I agree. The Batman movies in this universe aren't my favorite Batman movies out there, but
I mean,
I mean,
the Batman Hush I think is like so much better than this. It's like a
the
superior
only thing
film.
I just don't like about it is the whole Riddler thing, which we'll talk about when we get there, but I don't want to spoil anything, but just the Riddler thing.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, hey, we did a Batman one this week. Next video is gonna be a Batman one.
Yeah, and Trevor will probably have to end up doing that because I probably won't
Probably,
watch
yeah,
it. So
because you're not reliable.
right,
Yeah, coming up we got Batman Bad Blood, which is a Batman
which
movie with
it's
Damien,
different.
and then we
It's
get
basically a
another Batman and Damien movie after that,
right, yeah.
and then we
It's
get a
it's a
break,
Bat Family
and then we
movie.
get a Batman movie, then more Damien.
Oh my god.
God.
At
We're almost there.
least
We're like 2 more movies.
he
No,
does
3
start to
movies.
die down a little bit in terms of being the lead character because he was definitely the like first like he's the main character in both of these movies so far. He does start to
Yeah.
take a back seat in my opinion, but
It's been a while since I've seen Bad Blood, so I'm gonna be interested to
yeah,
get back into
for
that and
sure.
watch that with like basically going in fresh. I'm sure certain scenes will kind
It
of
might be
stick
the
out,
only
but
one I've only seen once.
yeah, I think I've seen that one only once, and then maybe
Well, I've only seen the newer ones in this universe once too, but yeah, I mean, I guess it'll be cool to rewatch it.
yeah. I mean, almost
I
more
feel like
excited
I
to do that than
it's definitely one I don't remember it's the one I don't remember the most of, so I mean, like I can't even think of what the plot is right now.
I can't either. All I know is there's like Batwoman and
Batwoman and
Batwing,
Batwing. Yeah.
Nightwing, and Damien.
Yeah, I don't even
Yeah.
remember the villain at all. Huh. Well,
Well,
find out next week. It might not be next week,
yeah.
so don't hold
Whenever
me
we
to
get to
that,
it, get
but
off our ass. Yeah.
yeah, come on, bruh.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
lazy. Let me do it
I know,
my
and
own time.
I've been busting my ass doing this, so you know.
Yeah, Trevor does all the work on this podcast,
Oh,
so
100%, yeah. Except for, the editing, the music, the reaction stuff. I just, write down notes making a 2-hour movie 6.5 hours long, and I still end up making the movie sound boring as shit. So, hey, if anyone
oh
wants to
my
be a new
god.
co-host on this, I'll be dropping out in about a week, so fuck me, I
Oh
guess.
lord.
Yeah, my
All
final
right.
episode I'll
Well,
be doing.
oh, we're a train wreck.
We
But
just
if
don't
you're
give a
here
shit.
still watching us week after week,
Probably
we
not.
appreciate you.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
there's
definitely
probably no one
appreciate you,
here.
yeah. The one person out there watching week to week. We love you.
Yeah, which
And
is me, which is you actually. I don't even rewatch our videos.
yeah, I'm the only one who rewatches it. But if there's anybody else who's not me, once we hit 100 subscribers, give me your address and I'll send you a muffin. Can't
Oh
promise
my
there won't be
god.
a bite taken out of it because I do get hungry because I'm fat as shit. So
Muffin giveaway, guys. Muffin giveaway. Get us to 100 subs and you get a muffin. Half eaten, maybe.
yeah, that's just for
Poppy
the first
seed?
person. We don't have enough money to give it to everybody.
Right. Calm down, guys. It's 100 subs. One person. Poppy seed or banana nut or what are we talking?
I don't know, whatever Duncan throws out and I dig out of the dumpster.
Fair enough. I like poppy seed, so maybe I'll just unsub and resub. Do that old trick.
Uh,
Don't unsub, by the way.
God.
All right,
Yeah,
later, nerds.
later, nerds.